Welcome to Hat-Trick City on WXCI 91.7, Danbury's only all-hockey radio show.
I know that some in our audience don't know the finer points of hockey.
You want me to dummy you again?
Hat tricks, baby! Woo-hoo!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Hat-Trick City. I'm your host, DJ Patty Cake, as always joined by DJ Uncle Matt here in the studio. And to start off this episode, we want to wish you all a very happy Thanksgiving. We know by the time you may be listening to this, it may be very late on Thanksgiving, or it'll be the day after, but still, regardless, we hope you had a very happy and safe and fun Thanksgiving.
Yeah, absolutely. You may listen to it before then, too, which is cool. But it's great to catch up with everybody. The team's been out of town for a while, and we've been pushing out episodes. We've been trying to get a little more participation from the players and from former players and stuff. It's been a little tricky recently, but we're working on, and we will persevere.
Yeah, and so last weekend, I'd say was a pretty successful one for the boys, coming out with 2 wins, being above 500. So we got a win in Watertown, which was nice. It was a close one, 2-1 win over there, followed by an absolute beatdown in Elmira with an 8-1 win, which is kind of what we're used to seeing when we face Elmira. I know Matt can speak on that from experience as well.
Yeah, it's just, again, you have these situations recently where, again, that's a tough road trip. You got to go up to Watertown. It's far. It's close. We talk about it all the time. It's close to Canada. And then you swing back down. You go by Elmira, and you play them. Again, Watertown's been kind of tough. Elmira, I guess, not quite as much, right? And, I think you're going to expect that for a while. They made some changes to their roster recently. A few teams actually made some changes, including the Hat-Tricks, and we'll get to that. But needless to say, again, in the Fed, it's tough. They had something good going in the Enforcers. And for whatever reason, there wasn't an opportunity there to keep that ownership in place. The building went dormant for a year. They propped back up with the Mammoth. I just don't think that ever had a chance. And I think all these, again, I've said it before, I think all these names are stupid. The Mammoth, the River Sharks are just stupid. There's got to be a cooler, cleaner name that they could come out with. At the end of the day, it's going to take a while to get that right. We talked about it on the show. It's a great building, great history for hockey, great building for the Fed. But evidently, they cut Luke Richards as recently today. Former Danbury hat-trick Luke Richards, who played about 2/3 of the season last year with the hat-tricks and put up some good points. I guess he was out of Stonehill College in Massachusetts. So it's unclear where he'll go. But another player on the move is Parker Moskal, who's been a pretty consistent scoring force, I think, within the league. If you're looking at it, this guy is on his, somebody pulled it up. I think it was, let me just try and get this right. Lee Rocco pointed out that the Danbury Hat-Tricks will be Parker's 8th team in the Fed in 5 seasons. Wow. Which is pretty impressive. And he also snuck in some games in the SPHL, and I believe he even played did he play overseas at one point? I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, he did for Sweden. He played for their D2
Division II team in Sweden. Yeah, again, listen, if you play D2 in Sweden, you got to be a pretty good skater. You got to be a guy who, can potentially put the puck in the back of the net. So I personally met Parker Moskal a couple of seasons ago. He was with Columbus. They were here for a playoff game. We had a nice conversation. I don't know if that's his reputation completely around the league. I know there were some interesting exchanges with him and some fans in the Animal House and in Section 102. So sometimes it's a if you can't beat them, join them situation. and now Parker Moscow is a Danbury hat trick. So very interesting. Just a great league of storylines. The storylines are so vivid in this league because it's a small league. Most of the people who follow the teams very closely know the players. So again, it's going to be an interesting couple of days on social media as Parker Moscow signs a 4-game
player
tryout contract with the hat tricks.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see him this week when we play against Binghamton. But before we get into that preview, Matt, you actually went down to Jersey, skated in the Rock, otherwise known as the Prudential Center, for a beer league game. How was it?
Yeah, it was really awesome. I have to give a shout out to a guy by the name of Sam Schachter. He puts together a lot of great events. I've skated with Sam at UBS Arena, the Islanders' new arena. Skated with him and his guys at the Hartford. Is it the Xfinity Center in Hartford, right?
Oh, yeah, the XL Center.
The XL Center. The XL Center in Hartford. And, also skated with him. We've done some games against the Long Island Warriors, some disabled veteran teams. I think I played with them once or twice against those guys. And, last night with my buddy Cody, we traveled together down there. I went down to my parents' house in Queens, and I spent the night. Listen. It's an incredible experience when you get to play in an NHL rink. It's just a bunch of guys last night in mismatched jerseys going back and forth. And I had a pretty nice shot on goal, and I thought we played well defensively most of the game. But it's just a great experience. That experience and that, we're walking around in the hallway of the building, and, you're not necessarily in a pro locker room or anything when you go to these events. But you are on the NHL ice. When you get that out there on the ice, you're on the bench. You're hopping the same boards that the Devils are hopping over right now. Guys like Dougie Hamilton and Hughes brothers, right? I think they've got both Hughes brothers now. And then there's a little history there for me because when I was growing up, the Devils were on that crazy run with Kenny Danico and Niedermeyer and obviously Marty Brodeur and Scott Stevens. So it was really cool for me. And these things are great. And we're trying to do more of that in Danbury. As you know, we are Hat Trick City kind of cross-promoting this, I guess you would say. But we're going to have that Top Hat Cup, which is going to be a novice kind of beginner and adult intermediate beer league tournament in Danbury. So if you haven't played in a long time, you never played hockey before, if you're an adult just getting into it, March 23rd, 2024, we have a tournament that's, like I said, kind of part of Hat Trick City. If you're an adult and you play on a low-level beer league team, you didn't play in college, maybe you didn't play in high school, this is the tournament for you. So you can get in touch with us through the Hat Trick City Instagram. You can get in touch with us through the Hat Trick City Facebook. You can get in touch with the event, which is going to be called the Top Hat Cup. It's going to be really fun. It's at Top Hat Hockey on Instagram. So if you're interested in playing novice, beginner, adult hockey, if you play that type of league already, we got people of that level of play coming from all over right now. New York, New Jersey, Long Island, Connecticut. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and then I'm honestly excited to see it, and
I'm excited to see you playing it.
Yeah.
You're alleged to be playing in it.
I am alleged to be playing in it. I think it'll be a fun tourney. It'll be nice to kind of get in that kind of vibe, at least in March too, before the Classic and all that, and have those two events kind of just going hand in hand with each other would be amazing. But going into this week, we got Binghamton twice, the day before and after Thanksgiving. Wednesday, they'll be in Binghamton. Currently, Binghamton is coming off of a pretty interesting loss against Watertown, 5-1 loss. Not a game that most people would expected would go that way. So that definitely could be something good for us in turn. And then we've been on a 3-game win streak thus far. And then Friday, they come here So it's going to be interesting to see, but overall, Binghamton leads the season series 2-1. So honestly, it's probably going to be another chippy round of games.
Unfortunately, it's kind of relevant for us to mention before we sign off here that if you're coming down to the game Friday to see a certain former player of the Danbury Hat-Tricks, guess what? He's not going to be there. He's been cut by the team. He's been cut by Binghamton. So it sounds like he won't be at the game on Friday. We can probably tone down all of the real estate he's occupied for free in your heads.
Yeah, I didn't want to be the one to bring that up, but essentially, best on you for bringing that up and kind of wording that correctly. But yeah, I mean, it's about time we forget this guy and leave him in the past. I mean, he did his thing. We continue to do ours, so it's just leave it be to own things,
That's it.
and have more focus on us.
Yeah,
not
it's gonna be interesting here. The new run, the Hat-Tricks have got a new player in Parker Moscow. I'm sure he'll play Friday night. I'm sure that'll be the expectation. Allegedly, if you're gonna hear this probably sooner than later, there's an allegation also that the Hat-Tricks have new jerseys with nameplates on their back.
Whoa.
So that's something that's been great. And I also wanted to say one more thing before we sign off. I know we're going to a holiday weekend with a game. If any of the Hat-Tricks fans that listen to the show, we don't know how many people ultimately listen. We think it's around 100 people through various ways, but could be more. Mm-hmm. But what we wanted to say is if you support the team, get behind the Danbury Hat-Tricks Booster Club because they try and do a lot of good things for guys. Membership is pretty cheap. They give you a nice pin. You know what I mean? So try and support that. I mean, if you come down to games every week, it really is just spending an extra $25 to help support the Booster Club to get things going. So it'd be great if we see a little more consistency with regular fans in that. We also want to shout out all of our people. We also want to shout out Top Hat Tazi and Eddie Nitro for working the penalty box with us in the Sunday night NA3HL game. If you are interested, yes, there may be opportunities for you too to work the Sunday night NA3HL penalty box. Right now, it looks like Eddie Nitro and Top Hat Tazi, especially because of their law enforcement backgrounds, will come in very handy in the penalty box, and it looks like they're doing a good job. But if you're interested, hit us up.
For sure. And, folks, again, we just want to wish you a very happy Thanksgiving again. We're looking forward to this, slate of games this week. And enjoy this amazing interview we have lined up for you with Michael Marchesan.
This is Danbury Hat-Tricks head coach Billy McCreary, and you're listening to Hat-Trick City Radio on WXCI 91.7 FM.
Ladies and gentlemen, this week on Hat-Trick City, we're welcoming back a very, very special guest, the one and only playoff MVP, Michael Marchesan. Michael, how are we doing today?
Great to be back. See you guys. Get to chat. It's awesome.
Of course. And, Marchie, you've been tearing it up recently in the East Coast League. Obviously, we give our congratulations to you on making that big jump up. So first thing I want to ask was kind of what was the change like?
A lot faster for sure. And then just these little plays you would like placing in areas, positioning wise, everything's just that extra step quicker. And then you get guys that are draft picks and everything that are in the league. It's pretty cool to see that at the end of the day, everyone's human too. You make mistakes just as much as you would in any league, really. Our coach preached that too, even in the NHL, everyone's just making mistakes. It's going to happen, but just how you react to them.
Exactly. And then, just to kind of take it back a little bit, I imagine you had a busy summer. So if you want to go ahead and take us through it.
Oh, yeah. So I had a couple boys over to my cottage for Canada Day weekend. We had a blast there, celebrating the cup and everything like that. And then really it was just training, working out, and working at construction landscaping. And then I saw J-Mac a couple times in Pittsburgh, met my girlfriend down there, and been hitting it off since.
That's awesome.
I actually want to backtrack because I think Pat got far too ahead. I wanted to talk about the differences between the Fed and the ECHL. What's the post-game meal situation like in the ECHL? Like, is this showing up to McDonald's at 1 a.m. and getting the door locked on us, or is this a little more kind of an established thing at mealtime?
Yeah, so we get meals sometimes. I think we've gone twice or after a game, or like, but really, if you're on the away, you're putting down your meal order before the game, and like they have a kitchen and everything, and then you just put your money in, and they get the food ready for you. But excellent food. Sometimes those McDonald's burgers hit nice though. So
Yeah, and then even talking about that McDonald's night was one to remember. We were talking about it with Xavier a little bit ago, and it's just, do you run into stuff like that, like on bus trips and stuff like that, at least in the coast?
no, I haven't run into that yet. We eat pretty good and healthy. But like we just came back from a Florida bus trip and we stopped at Love's gas station or whatever it is, and the bus had to fill up. But some guys are getting some bad snacks. Like me myself, I grabbed like 2 chocolate bars and a bag of chips. I'm not still the same human.
What's it like down there, Marchie? Though, like, there's been a little, just for kind of nonsense talk's sake, there's been a lot of rumors on the internet, stuff on like ESPN and stuff about Atlanta possibly getting an NHL team again. It would be the third time they had a team. Are you feeling any type of way about the vibe down there for the NHL? And what are the fans like for the Gladiators out in Gwinnett, which I know is outside of the city of Atlanta?
Yeah, so we're like a little bit outside, like 45 minutes, but they're great. Like you can tell they're diehard fans and they know everything about you. Like we had a meet and greet and everything, and they were talking like, "Oh, hey," getting to know you and everything. I think it would do great. My coach actually brought it up too because I was like, "Well, do you think it would work?" Because we had these talks too, like all of us talk about it. And he's like, "Yeah, if you're doing it on the outside, like in a certain area, I forget what it was. It was on the outskirts of Atlanta though, not directly inside." And because there's so many rinks around there and everything that people will just go there and it'd work for sure. And I could see it too, to be honest. I didn't expect this in Atlanta, like what it'd be like. It's super nice. I have nothing to complain about at all.
Where do you guys live, and how far are you from the facilities, both the practice rink and the main arena?
We live in Duluth, and we're about 15 minutes from our rink, and then like same with our practice rink. Our practice rink is like 30 seconds away from our main rink, and it's where the Thrashers used to practice, I guess, too. So it's cool.
That is pretty cool, yeah. So tell us a little bit about just the last couple of weeks. What's the adjustment kind of been just to the new league for you, like in terms of, we all probably knew after that tremendous season you had with the hat tricks last year, you were going to get an opportunity to go to I guess you'd say a higher league. But what could you just take the fans through the story of the last couple of months? Maybe what was your training camp situation and leading up to now where you're knocking guys out on social media?
Yeah, so like I trained with Matt Carey in Hamilton, and he's a former NHL player for Chicago, and I've been training with him for some years, and he's great. And he was talking to me over the summer as we were training, and then I ended up signing in Macon, and their head coach Nick Niederreiter, a great guy, he set me up with the East Coast Hockey League camp. He's like, "Yeah, like I'm going to set you up somewhere where I know you could succeed, sorry, and just make the most of it." And so around October or September, like 29th, I left for Atlanta, and I had some Macon Mayhem teammates that were also here with me, and we were in these beautiful apartments, brand new, like no one else has moved into this huge brand new apartment complex except for us, the players, still to this day. And we were here for a bit, and then we had an exhibition game, an inter squad game, and the coach ended up telling me I made the team. And I've just been living in the apartments, trying to replicate somewhat what I did last year, but it's hard, right? I'm got to gain confidence in myself and ability. You're moving up 2 levels. It's going to happen, but feel like I just got to keep working hard, and that's all what I do in the summer is just work hard and don't make excuses for yourself. And I don't expect anything given to me. I expect I have to take everything. So that's just my mindset.
We were spending some time in the Danbury penalty box last night with one of the, two of the biggest Hat Tricks fans, Mike Top Hat Tazi, and the one and only Eddie Nitro. They both just both big Hat Tricks fans, and they were really talking a little bit about your story, from those guys from Section 207. They were talking about your story last season and how you kind of I guess your junior eligibility had expired, right? Were you done with junior eligibility?
Yeah.
Done with junior eligibility. You got a chance early in the season with the Binghamton Black Bears. You played in one game?
3.
You played in 3 games for the team. You ended up getting cut. Why don't you just do a little bit of a rewind, because that entry into professional hockey is probably as interesting as they come. I think you met was it Johnny McDonald in Nashville, Huntsville? Take us through the story yourself.
Yeah. So out of juniors, I had a good season there too for my last year, because I got my 20-year-old year taken away. I wanted to go to college to play hockey, but that opportunity got taken away. And so I got an invite, or told to go to a free agent camp in Huntsville. And I had no idea what they were like. So I just went, paid the money, and then ended up making the cuts or whatever. So I went to Huntsville's main camp, met J-Mac there, and we got cut at the same day, like right before they were leaving for a road trip, right before the season started. And then we went to Nashville. Decided to go after it, like get a couple drinks in us just to relieve some stress. And then he said, "Hey, like Danbury wants to talk to you. Like they're a good spot. I was there last year." And then Binghamton called me too. And then their offer sounded a lot better. And it ended up not coming to fruition in Binghamton. So then I went home for a bit, texted Billy. Billy kind of iced me for like a week, which I understand, because I kind of did him dirty, I guess, in a way, after Huntsville. And then I had a slow start in Danbury too, but he trusted me, and it worked out like that.
It certainly did, especially at the very end of the season when we took Carolina back home to Danbury and we took the championship right from them. It was really great, impressive, and just for the fans out there listening, it's not that easy to make the jump from the Federal League to the ECHL. Especially, I don't think you played a game in the SP, did you, Marchie? You never played one game in the SP, and that's the Southern Professional League. That's it doesn't always go hand in hand that you go to the Southern Professional League before the ECHL, but it's an impressive jump. I remember in the early days of the Federal Hockey League, there were guys kind of making a similar jump. One kid who had played at Brown, Tyler Fernandez, comes to mind. He did play just a tiny bit in the SP, but he became pretty much a regular ECHL guy, and there was a lot more call-up. Could you just, for the fans that are out there that wonder the differences, I think you touched on it at the beginning, but other than the speed of the game, are there other differences that stick out to the way the game is played, or how the rosters are built?
Yeah, so like every team has their like NHL draft picks on them, right, and everything like that. Or you have AHL one-way contracts, or they're coming down here for a bit, and so the competition's just a lot better in my opinion, and the caliber of players. So you gotta adjust and find a way to make an impact on the game, I guess.
How many, just off the top of your head, I mean, it doesn't have to be like the right number, would you say there's a lot of Division I college hockey guys that are on your team now, or do the guys mostly come from the major juniors?
It's been everywhere. I think we have I think there was 2 D3 guys, a lot of D1, and then like a lot of major junior players like that.
And you never had that opportunity. I was looking back on your Instagram today, and it looks like this is something I wanted to bring up to the fans, because I've encountered this a few times just in my travels over the years. You got drafted in the OHL draft by the Flint Firebirds, I guess. Is that right?
I was like it was an invite. it was a priority selection, so
Okay.
new thing they were doing. It wasn't like the 16-year-old draft. It was I think it was for late bloomers or whatever. I don't know. It was newer.
So just out of curiosity, you get that opportunity. But what kind of happens there? You don't have to say if you played good or bad or whatever, but you get to go to a camp? Is it more just a ceremonial thing? What was the nature of that?
Yeah, it was a full-on camp. So Flint, they billeted us with families and like 3 guys to a house. So we were there for like a week or something. And you practiced twice, and then you played like 4 or 5 games. And then they made cuts and everything for the main camp. It was a good experience. So they did fitness testing, all that kind of stuff, and broad jump, pull ups, which I suck at. I can't do very many of them. My arms are too long.
Well, it does seem a little interesting to me. I guess if you're keeping a scorecard, as they say, you didn't get that major junior opportunity. Obviously not the major college D1 type of thing either. You were cut in the SP, essentially cut in Binghamton.
Yeah.
Ended up being definitely so far one of the best single seasons I think that I can remember. Definitely one that ended with a championship here in Danbury. And now you're basically, one, there's that always hungry hockey league right above the ECHL, the AHL, but you know, you're in that striking distance of the NHL in some ways. Quite frankly, more often than we see guys from the Fed getting. We have had guys like Dylan Kelly and these other guys getting that AHL opportunity, but it's definitely great to see you on that ECHL level. How does it? Who is the Atlanta affiliated with?
Nashville and Arizona.
So is it like, are there like scouts, assistant coaching your team? Is that the way it works, or are there stuff like that?
No, our coaches, they played in Atlanta before. Derek Nesbitt and Coach Neely, they played for Atlanta for years, and they're just I think Nezzy was assistant coach for a year or two, and then now he's a head coach, and Niels was a player, and he went to assistant coach.
I think that's the guy who had that big retirement ceremony on Spit and
Yeah,
Chicklets, right?
yeah.
Nesbitt. Yeah. That's really cool. It's really cool that you're playing for that guy. That's certainly a city, Pat. That'd be great to take a road trip, right? To
Yeah.
Atlanta to see hockey.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he's a great guy, and he's well connected too. We were at Atlanta, and we were going to Allen, Texas for a road trip, and I saw Biz Nasty, like Spit and Chicklets guy there. He was walking, and he was talking to Nezzy, and like I guess they're friends, and they know each other very well. And he goes to the boys like, "Sup, fuckers."
What about I know you said you've gone down to Florida. Now you said Texas. Where else have you guys gone this season? And what are like? I'm always curious. Up here in the Northeast, we're kind of spoiled with this hockey culture. I mean, like if you ask some people in Danbury, the city of Danbury is a borough of Canada, like to some people. But what was the crowd like in Texas and the crowds like in Florida for ECHL hockey?
Wild, wild. So we went to Greenville, Jacksonville, Florida, and Texas, and they're insane. Like they're wild. They're big rinks, and they got really packed too. Like Florida was wild. Jacksonville was packed too when we played them. Texas, they have a smaller barn, but it was really nice. It reminded me of like Wheelings. Like I've been there for Ames's fight. I was there, and I was like, it's a smaller rink, but they pack it. Yeah, it's just they're wild and they're loud. Kind of like Danbury, obviously not to the same extent, but they love their hockey.
Yeah, and what are those kind of road trips like? It's all bus, right?
We flew to Allen, Florida. We just got back from a bus trip Sunday, so that was rough. That was 9 hours, but they're good guys on the team, so we just have fun with it. Some guys are smart, and they brought like a mattress topper and stuff, and like they're lying on the floor doing whatever, just whatever to get comfortable. And I only brought 2 pillows, which is stupid, but I'll know next time.
I was gonna say, I mean, you're just getting used to it still, so it's just rookie mistakes, I guess.
What are you missing most about if you're missing anything at all about this area? Is there something about this area that kind of this Danbury area that you kind of miss or you feel sentimental about?
Um, yeah, like the lunches with the boys after is always fun. Like you just go into the mall and hang. As much as like living in a hotel kind of has a lot of downs or whatever, it'd be cool. Like just you seeing your friends all the time. And it's kind of the same thing here. Like we have an apartment, we're all like right beside each other, but it's not the same as a hotel, obviously, right? Because you have nowhere to go, so you just hang out with each other.
How many guys in the apartment you live in?
Just me.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
solo, huh? Very nice.
Yeah, I got lucky. I moved out into a hotel for a bit. Then when I signed, I got back in here. I had a roommate, and now I don't. I'm just seeing how long it lasts. So until I get, but so far it's nice. Beautiful apartments.
Let me ask you something. There's a lot of stuff that the three of us here, yourself, Pat and I, we kind of lived a lot of that end of the season right there with you guys, Pat, because we were on all those road trips.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mike, if you could, what like what are the flashes of stuff that you really remember about the end of the season there? Like what like comes to mind all the time?
Um,
Obviously the championship.
yeah, yeah. I'm just trying not to use something so cliche as that. Like it just like I think the first was like that first round, even though like it was Elmira, we knew we were just gonna run through them. Obviously, you can't think like that, but we knew we were going to. We had their number all year. They didn't beat us, but it's just even when we went for that series, I didn't think it'd be that packed and like the fans, how crazy and loud they get. Like even like walking down to the tunnel onto the ice, like and everyone just clapping you in, and it was
Yeah.
pretty special to be every time. You're just getting that like, all right, we're here, let's go.
And then I kind of wanted to bring up, you guys had a pretty hot start in Atlanta. I mean, starting off winning 7 straight. Um, kind of what do you think fueled that run? I know obviously, the Rabbits kind of ruined that run, but at the same time, how was it? Because you guys were chasing that record that I think Worcester currently holds with 9-0 as a start.
Yeah, so we got 8, and for the franchise record, it was pretty cool to see. But I think it was just we have a bunch of guys like our veteran guys are skilled and they're really good vets. Like they're good guys too, and everyone's pretty close on this team. So like they lead the way for sure. Like our power plays and everything, and our quick pace is good. We have a lot of rookies as well, but our vets, like we have a lot of guys that came from AHL experience and everything, and they're sick. Like they're watching them every day. It's just kind of like, wow, fuck, I'm here. Excuse my language, but like, damn, these guys are really good.
No, you're all good. Matt, I know you'll kind of like this little tidbit, or at least we noticed that your guys' play-by-play kind of dissed you a little bit on that first goal, called it your first professional goal.
Yeah,
That was rough.
and I was like, oh, it's not, but guess they're just dissing the Fed and me like that. I was like, okay,
That's kind of rough. Yeah,
yeah,
it really hurts.
yeah. I
And
heard.
that guy probably doubles as the volleyball announcer. So, but anyway, Mike, it's really great to have you on. We really miss you up here, dude. You were always a fun guy to have around. Tell me, just as you're exiting here, how does it just compare right now to knowing that you had so many, like at the start of last season, you had so many kind of false starts. You had a full start kind of in the SP, and then a full start with Binghamton, and then it took you a while to get going. Is there any? I mean, that quite frankly, it feels like there was a little bit of perseverance involved there. A lot, maybe some young kids would have gotten cut from Binghamton and went home.
Yeah.
It didn't work out. I'm gonna do whatever. How does it feel for you personally to have kind of persevered through that? Not only been a guy you were not only discarded from the SPHL, you were discarded by a team that we basically beat to get to the finals.
Yeah.
We did beat to get to the finals, right? So,
Yeah.
How are you feeling about that? And well, maybe what's your advice to some people that face similar obstacles?
Yeah, so I like learned it from my granddad, my mom, my dad. Like they're the toughest people I know, and they don't stop, they don't quit. Like that's as cliche as it sounds, like we don't quit. But I always knew that I could be what I can do and my ability. And I just believe in myself and know that you're not going to quit because like nothing good in life comes to someone easily. I believe. I think you always have to work at it, and you learn a lot about yourself, like going through the trials and triumphs. So going through all that, I think it made me a better man, a better hockey player. And yeah, for sure, I'm not going to lie. Like after Binghamton, I was just like, maybe I'm just not good enough at hockey. Like, but then I knew I trained with my team trainer, like thought it over, had some sleepless nights on it, and then I was like I can't be done. Like I'm not. I didn't train my whole life just to give up. And I'm just starting basically my pro career, and I just think you just got to keep going no matter what until the wheels fall off.
I just want to. I think we might have skipped over there. Like, how close did you get actually with that OHL thing with the Firebirds? Was that the closest you actually got to even getting on the radar of the major juniors?
Yeah. So when I was 16, my dad, he's a teacher, and he had a friend that was an agent, and so my 16-year-old year, I was supposed to get drafted to Guelph. Supposedly, there was a manager there that wanted to draft me, and then he got traded or he signed some other team. I forget what team it was, and then that never fell through. So I was looking at the draft as it was going down on the screen, and I was like, "Come on, where am I going?" And then I get a call later, like saying, like, "Yeah, you, the general manager signed somewhere else. He's not bringing you in. Sorry." And then that invite the year later I got was the closest I got for sure.
That's amazing, man. And now you're in the ECHL with affiliated teams and with some guys who have NHL contracts. It's great. It's a great story for Danbury hockey too.
Yeah,
And
thank you.
then, one last thing for me, I have to ask, can you give us just a little retelling from your perspective of that goal? You know the one.
Still doesn't really come back to me. It's just more of a blackout, but I just do remember uh driving the net, X shooting that, and then I thought Kennedy was just going to go in the corner with it, so I tried to whack at his stick. He fluffed it, and then I was already going that way, so I couldn't really stop, or I didn't want to because I was also gassed. It was at like the end of the shift.
Yeah.
I just saw 5 hole, and I just wanted to smack it as hard as I can, and like slowly turning away from it, like watching it go through from behind him, like doing a whole 360 around the net. Basically, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to stop at the net, but I was too gassed, and then I just watched it slowly cross and made sure to look at the ref because I thought they were going to do something scummy because of the game before that,
Yeah.
like fall off a goal or whatever. And I saw him go like that, and like, threw the gloves off and celebrated. I don't like Gonzo was telling me, he just always texts me too. He was like, "Yeah, like you were just saying, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god."
Oh,
It was really amazing. When we think of and just in my own work of trying to draft this whole thing as a book, it's really emotional at times to think of we were always in pretty much first place. We were running, but there were just so many snafus and games we lost to teams from out of the conference where we looked bad. It was just like, what the heck could happen here? And the rest is history, basically.
That book's gonna be great. There's
I'm working on it.
a lot of drama in that season too that like we had to overcome, which
Oh
was
yeah.
a testament to our group. It's pretty cool.
oh, and then I gotta ask. I know they did a write up on you, and they said you didn't get your ring yet. Did you get it yet, or no?
You know what? I'm gonna go check the office, like because I forgot to check it on the way back from practice today, but they didn't send it to the room, so it's probably in the office if I did get it yet. Billy texted me about where to send it, so I sent it the address and everything.
All right, hopefully so. We'll update the fans if it did arrive or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, Marchie, thanks for coming on the show. Obviously, best of luck to you and what you're achieving right now.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you guys. It's been a
Of
pleasure.
course.